bit low there. Good evening, welcome to Weather Fans Live here on Thursday the 10th of August 23. Again, it's just me tonight. I have no idea where Paul is. I've not heard from him for quite a while. Tonight we're just going to take a look at the very latest and the weekend weather, and after showing the hints of some warmth coming up from the south later next week, we'll have a look again to see if that's still shown on the latest charts from the GFS, and we'll take a look at the ensembles from the ECMWF. So let's go straight into it and have a look at the latest temperatures across the UK. And it's been perhaps our warmest day since around about the start of July. If I can find that tab, there we go. Let me take myself off the screen now, put on full screen. So these are the latest temperatures from across the UK as of 8 minutes past 8. Top temperature at the minute is 26 degrees, and you will think it'd be down the southeast, but at the moment it isn't. And where is that? At, oh, you like to test me, Rosthern. Me personally, I'm not saying I've heard of it, but that's up towards the northwest of England. It's perhaps around the Manchester area. So temperatures at the moment from about 8 o'clock. We've got East Midlands at 25 degrees in this around this area. Nottingham 25 degrees. Leek at 23. Let's come down towards the southeast. Stansted Airport 24. Biggin Hill at 21. Headcorn Aerodrome at 15 degrees, which seems quite low actually, unless there's got a bit of rain down now. We'll have a look in just a moment. Shoreham Airport at 19 degrees. Let's go along the south coast. At Bournemouth at 20 degrees. Then towards the southwest, Plymouth at 18 degrees. Culdrose and Camborne at 18 and 17 degrees. Shifner at 21. Let's go over to Wales. Mumbles Head at 19. Sainsbury Bridge at 20. Cape of Curragh at 20. Rhyl at 21. Blackpool at 20. Head northeast into Leaming at 25. Fylingdales at 22. Reedsdale Camp at 23. Heading to Scotland now. Edinburgh Airport at 20. Glasgow at 22. Evermore also at 22. Altnahar at 23. So the warmth isn't just confined to the south, it's also been to Scotland as well. And we've got Wick at 15, perhaps where that cooler air is at the moment. Let's cross over to Ireland at Belfast at 18. Castledurg at 20. Mount Dillon at 18. Gerteen at 20. Moore Park at 18. And Waterford Airport at 17. So let's have a look. As a couple of things I'll look at. Let's flick over to this. So this is the latest facts chart from the Met Office. This is from 6 p.m. tonight. We've got this low just set out towards the Atlantic. About to bring these weather fronts in from the southwest. That is showing up on the satellite imaging. You can just about work out that air of low pressure towards the northwest of the image there. So these are the weather fronts coming in towards western areas at the moment. There's your swirl of cloud there in association with that low pressure, which is going to move in for the weekend. Surprise, surprise. It's like the 5th or 6th week in a row where we're going to get low pressure moving in. Let's take a look at the latest radar. And we'll start to see that precipitation coming to western areas, coming through the Irish Sea at the moment. I'd zoom in on that. So there's a few showers actually just coming into parts of the Midlands and into Wales. These look like mostly light in nature. We've got this showery bands coming into western areas through southwest England. into parts of West Wales, up through the Irish Sea into Ireland, and across some heavier bursts there towards Omagh in Northern Ireland, and towards the north of Northern Ireland, almost approaching the Western Isles of Scotland there. So the light detector is on. It's not showing any light coming through at all. Regards of lightning over maybe cover at the odd rumble thunder at the moment with this rain moving towards the northeast, but nothing more than that. Let's click into that. A couple of systems out there actually. She's been in the Atlantic, sorry, not the Atlantic, in the Pacific for quite a while. She's tracking away virtually across the Pacific Ocean. Let's go back actually. She started as a feature towards Honduras on Friday the 28th. Then she made her way into the Pacific. And by the time we got to Wednesday the 2nd, she was a Category 2 hurricane. I forgot what the word was then. A Category 2 hurricane. And she's been churning across the Pacific for around about 2 weeks now. When did she come into the Pacific? Around about the 29th. So we're getting close to 2 weeks now of continuing her path across the Pacific. She did get at one point get up to a Category 4 on a few occasions actually. And as she passed towards the towards the south of the Hawaiian Islands, the Hawaii has unfortunately been devastated by some wildfires, which was helped on by the hurricane just passing towards the south of it, which was bringing more strong winds on its northern flank, so the northeasterlies, which was fueling the wildfires across there. But Dora is still exploring across the Pacific, and she is now still a Category 3 hurricane at this stage, with winds of around 120 miles per hour. And as we head into the weekend, she's going to turn more towards the northwest. Still a Category 2 hurricane expected by Saturday the 12th, so that'll be like day 14 of us being active across the Pacific. She will stay way to the north of the Marshall Islands there. If we zoom out, if we can. So it just shows you how much of a trek she's done across the Pacific at the moment. So she's about halfway, good, getting close to 2/3 of the way across the Pacific Ocean. Only a few storms have actually made it across to the other side to the western side of the Pacific Ocean. And one of those named storms was actually another storm called Dora, I think back in 1989. Let me just double check that, because it was mentioned to me just a short time ago. The last hurricane to make a trek across the Pacific, the last one was back in 2018 with Hurricane Hector. Other hurricanes that have recently completed the trek include Jamina in 2003, Dora back in 1999, John in 94, Enrique in 91, and Georgette back in 1986. So only 6 have already made it across the Pacific, and looks like it could be 7 with Dora. So she's probably expected to die off around about here. But just to the northwest of that, we've actually got a typhoon, which is Lan. Let's have a look what this chap is doing. I don't really know too much about the typhoons on this side of the world, but I've just seen that feature there. Let's have a look at it. So this is expected to head towards Japan in the next few days as a Category 2 typhoon. By the time it hits Japan, it'll probably just be heading to a weak side of a Category 1 by Monday, expecting winds of 89 miles per hour before weakening as it crosses into Japan. So Japan will be hit by that typhoon as we head into the weekend. And we've got a tropical storm as well. Let's have a look where that's originated from. Oh wow, it's a bit of a... That's more made of like a northern track of this one. That started Friday the 28th of July. Apologies for the pronunciations. This is Tropical Storm Kanun. That's made its progress towards the northwest of the Pacific. I don't know nothing much but this at all, so let's have a look. It was a Category 4 typhoon. And it was heading just to the northeast of Taiwan before it suddenly just, I'm guessing, might have been picked up by the jet stream, maybe up this end of the world. They made a sharp turn towards the northeast, had weakened by then into a tropical storm, where it has remained since then. Took a sharp turn there towards the north. Just seems like it's just clipping the far southwest of Japan, and now that is right in the center of South Korea. It's heading up to North Korea. Sorry, its forecast track is heading to North Korea before taking literally like a switch down back towards South Korea. That's probably like more of a tropical depression by then. So it's like it's going to North Korea and going, no thanks, I'm going back out again. So that's what's happening in the world of hurricanes and typhoons. Let's move on to the UK and let's have a look what's happening across the UK for the weekend. And last few days we've had high pressure across the UK, bringing up this southerly flow, hence why temperatures have been into the around about mid to high 20s today. But as mentioned, we've got this low pressure moving in from the Atlantic with associated weather fronts, bring the temperatures down probably about 4 or 5 degrees. So we'll still be probably hitting the low to mid 20s by the weekend, maybe high teens, low 20s. So by Friday lunchtime, we've got these weather fronts across down the southeast. These could produce a few showers. Risk of thunder can't be ruled out on this. As low pressure moves in closer towards UK, Saturday there will be the case of sunshine and showers. Some of these will be on the heavy side with risk of hail or thunder. And low pressure sat just anchored just towards the northwest of the UK, with its weather fronts against spells of rain or showers associated with this. Nothing like the storm we had last weekend with Storm Anthony. This is further northwest as well, but still with some rain or showers around. Perhaps further south you are, the more sheltered you are from these showers, so you could stay dry all day, but not a guarantee at this stage. Then as we head into Monday, where that low starts to fill in there, and again, some risk of some showers cannot be ruled out. So let's have a look at the latest GFS run from lunchtime today, see what that's showing us. Let's have a look at the sea surface pressure charts. Then we'll have a look at the upper airs, see if anything will come of any warmth. So if you want to know where that low pressure is, just look at the dartboard in the center of the Atlantic, which is right there. But by the time we get to the UK, that will start to fill in more. As mentioned, giving us a spell of rain or showers. And what does that low do? It still continues to fill in. Then also we've got high pressure trying to build in there from the west on Tuesday. We seem to have high pressure seem to build naturally across on top of the UK actually for start of next week, centred towards the north of Scotland. So what happens with that high pressure? It seems like we tried to tap into a bit of a easterly airflow there by the time we get to Friday the 18th. And that high pressure becomes centred towards Scandi. Looks like signs of settling down there for next week. That's bringing in a bit of a easterly, maybe southeasterly towards the southwest of the UK. So I'm just watching what the cat's doing in the garden. So yeah, as we're heading to Saturday the 19th, high pressure still centred towards Scandi, still bringing this easterly wind. Question is, will it be a warm wind? We'll have a look in just a moment. We've got high pressure towards our northeast, and also we've got high pressure, these also high sat to our southwest. So, seems like things are settling down for towards the back end of next week on this latest run. We've got lower pressure sat towards Iberia. That'll probably give spells of perhaps rain or thunderstorms down there. Then we're still remaining that easterly feed as we head into Wednesday the 23rd on this back end of this run. And that low does actually come up from the south, which will then turn the winds more into a southeasterly, and that will probably bring some thundery rain up from the south. Then low pressure does cross the UK towards day 14 on this latest run. What happens after that? The Azores high tries to build up from the southwest. So let's have a look at the upper airs from that. Hello, my pussycat. So the upper airs, we've got the plus 10 isotherm well across the UK, just almost clipping towards southern Iceland there. Temperatures, as we've noticed today, mid to high 20s. With that low coming in from the Atlantic, brings in the fresher air and that 10-degree isotherm. By the end of Friday, has left the country. We're back into this cooler airflow. Then what happens? We've got warmer across Europe. So that 10-degree isotherm is just towards our south and southeast. And do we tap into any of this warmer air as that high pressure starts to build towards the northeast? We're on the relatively cooler air as we head into the start of next week. And that 10-degree isotherm is just clipping the south coast there. Do we pick any warmth out to this? That 10-degree isotherm does actually move more across the UK as we head into next weekend. The plus 15 gets into the southeast. Do we see the plus 20? That's just clipping the far southwest still. So we're on the relative edge. Oops, Daisy. We tried to tap into that warm air across southern Europe, but with that area of low pressure towards Iberia, does this bring up the hotter air up? Let's have a look. So there's that low pressure starts to move up the western side, and it brings up the plus 15 degree isotherm. That'll be quite a thundery low, I suspect. Then that clears off into the near continent with that rain or showers. I'll say rain or thunderstorms, to be honest, with that setup. Then cooler air moves in right at the end of this run. So let's have a look at the temperatures with this latest run from the GFS. So there's today's temperatures. And tomorrow, a bit cooler across western areas into the Midlands, perhaps about up to about 5 degree temperature drop compared to today. Still hanging on to the heat in the southeast, perhaps a couple of degrees lower than today. As we head into the weekend, we're back down to the high teens, low 20s across the UK. And Sunday, perhaps the temperature trying to sneak into the mid-20s as we head into Sunday. Monday, temperatures again, perhaps high teens, low 20s. Same again for Tuesday. And same again for Wednesday. So it's looking a lot warmer than it has done throughout the whole of July. So temperatures more or less where it should be, into like the low 20s, 21, 22 across much of England and Wales, and in parts of Scotland, getting into the low 20s at times with Ireland as well. So right about next weekend, we'll start to pick that easterly flow. Let's see if it does pick up any warmer air up with that. So that does seem to be tapping into a bit of more warmer air with that high pressure there. Day by day, we expect the temperatures to rise as well, with plenty, I suspect, and plenty of sunshine. So mid to high 20s there possible for next weekend at this stage. Then same again for Sunday the 20th. Maybe hitting the 30 degree down towards the far southeast on Sunday the 20th. And virtually the whole of the UK, at least into the low 20s, including Ireland as well. Again, high 20s there from Monday the 21st. Tuesday the 22nd, still again mid to high 20s. Obviously, these will be bringing in warmer nights. So some places could be hitting their heat wave thresholds, depends on where in the country you are. On this latest run, Wednesday the 23rd of August, temperatures across the south there could be hitting 32 or 33 degrees. Nearby France could be hitting 41, 42 degrees. Then it's around about this time where that low starts to come up from the south, introducing some, I would say, some thunderstorms, or maybe some very heavy rain. Got 30, 31 degrees towards the east of England, and about 18 degrees towards Wales. So in between that, we'll have probably some thunderstorms, keeping it holding on to the heat in the east there. Then by the time we get to Friday, temperatures are back down to the high teens, low 20s, away from the far southeast, where they could hold on to that heat for one more day. That takes us to Saturday the 26th of August. So let's have a look at the Cape and Lifted actually for the next few days, especially over the weekend. There's a potential for perhaps some downpours or thundery showers. So let's have a look at the Cape for Saturday. So we've not had the trigger for this. As I said, some of these showers could turn heavy for a time, but these weather fronts are sat out around about here and wouldn't tap into really this Cape here. But I'm not ruling odd one thunderstorm seen towards the northwest of England. So Cape and lifted, not much around at all for tomorrow. So any showers will probably be not thunder. I couldn't think what I was going to say then. And not too much Cape around for Saturday. Still can't rule out the odd rumble thunder there for this Saturday. And Sunday, again, some of the showers towards Ireland and towards far north of England, Scotland. The odd rumble thunder can't be ruled out in some of those showers. Then after that, the weather seems to settle down. It's when we head into the back end. What we know, around about day 10 to 4. I think day 14 we'll start seeing that southerly push. So there's thunderstorms coming up from the south. So there's potential there for some big thunderstorms coming up from the south with that low pressure moving up. So we've got the Cape lifted there with that instability, with that southerly flow, with that thunder low moving up from the south on this run. So let's have a look and go back and have a look at this morning's run, see if it's showing the same or completely different. I'll tell you what I'll do. I will put them side by side. So this morning's run is on the left and what we just looked at is on the right. So let's bring that forward until the weekend. Let's get through to midday on Monday. So very similar there with that low pressure filling in towards the north of the UK. Then what happens beyond that? That's showing that high pressure building across the UK, just towards the north of the UK, between Iceland and Scotland there, through into Wednesday. I had a very similar thing actually on both model runs there from this morning and this afternoon. And both of these have actually got this high pressure building up towards Scandi. This morning's run's got it more towards just off the coast of Norway. And that's bringing more of a south. Actually, look at both actually virtually the same, actually heading towards day 10. So our high pressure towards Scandi, bringing in that east to southeasterly flow. This morning's run had that low pressure actually sat towards the west of Iberia. So compared to the latest run, that low pressure sat more just off the coast of Iberia. This one's got it sat across the Iberia itself. So we've got a bit of an east to southeasterly flow. What happens with that low there? By the end of this run, by the end of the run there on Friday, that one we're just seeing send that low across the UK up towards Iceland by Friday the 25th. This has still got that low towards the Bay of Biscay. There's that trying to bring it up from the south. Not on this run, it just keeps it into the Bay of Biscay. So let's have a look at the upper airs. Looking at that, they were very similar. Let's bring that forward through to Wednesday. So yeah, both keeping that hot air just at bay. Try to tap into it on days 8, 9, and 10. So both model runs are virtually in agreement there. But as mentioned, as we head right to the end of the Muller run back like in 2 weeks' time, the latest run brings that thundery low from the south. This one keeps it into the Bay of Biscay. And I'll just keep temperatures warm even in 2 days, 14 to 17. Again, I think temperatures will be virtually very similar to each other. Let's bring that to Wednesday, the 16th. So 6 days from now. So this morning's run's got things just a little bit warmer than it shown on the latest run. That's the same again. This morning's run just keeping things perhaps a degree warmer, but very similar actually for Friday the 18th. And we've virtually a carbon copy on both. So this morning's run and the lunchtime run is virtually in agreement, even in today's 7 to 10. So it seems like we do have that high pressure, like trying to build up across Scandi. But the only difference between these two runs is the latest run brings up that thundery low up from the south. This morning's run kept that low in the Bay of Biscay. So that's where we see that change with that thundery low coming up from the south. But this morning's run keeping those temperatures into the mid to high 20s. That's the end of that run there. So there's still signs of things turning warmer as we head in towards the end of next week. And with high pressure building up towards Scandi, would be east to southeast. That's a bit dark actually, isn't it? It's just gone dark in the last 10 minutes or so. So yeah, computer models are still showing hints of warmth coming up from the east to southeasterly towards the end of next week. Still chance it could change, but we'll start seeing that trend coming more and more because it was shown on Tuesday as well. If this is still shown by the time we get into Sunday, then yeah, we can see we're heading more like a warmer, more summer-like feel to our weather. But again, this weekend, another low moves up towards the northwest, but it won't be as, say, wet or windy at all compared to previous weekends. I think further south you are, the more dry it will be. Probably more likely to escape the showers completely. Further northwest you are towards Scotland and Ireland, more likely to see some of these heavy showers. Again, some of these will be heavy and thundery. Okay, that will be enough for tonight. We will keep you updated, and I shall see you on Sunday. So thanks for watching, and see you.